Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Let me know if you can hear and see me pretty well. Let's see. Ginny says, hello from Berlin. Hello. Hi. This is my favorite part. I've said this many times. Kathy Smith says, hello from Fargo. I love the show Fargo. I don't know how people in Fargo feel about it, but I love all of those seasons. Let's see. Lauren says, hi from Texas. Hello, Lauren. And I saw Gonzalo in here. Hello. I just saw Gonzalo at Dita's show last month, or it was this month, actually. We're still in February. Sam says hello from SoCal. Hello. Let's see. Hello from Phoenix. London. Sophia, hello. Thank you so much for coming. Ooh, Donna's in Kauai. Do you live there, Donna, or are you on vacation from the winter? Because vacation from the winter sounds very nice right now. There's a lot of snow outside, but it's the temperature that's so intense. It's very, very chilly. Hello from Alabama. Oh, the clock. Hello. I'm trying to think. Val, hello from Ontario. Hello. Rachel from Texas. Hello. And let's see. Donna, you live on Kauai. Well, how nice. Oh my gosh. It's Kauai. That's the one island I think I've been to and stayed there. And it was the most beautiful place I think I might have ever been. I say that about a lot of places, but I've been to a few places that I couldn't really pick a favorite. They're all so nice. Hello from Philadelphia. Hello, Laura. I like that spelling of that name, by the way. I just think it sounds really nice. Tasia says hello from, or I think it's Tasia, says hello from Northern Ireland. Hello, Northern Ireland. My tongue's already acting up. Okay, not so cold here in Alabama. Well, you're sitting there eating ice cream. Well, there's no ice cream going on right here. It's, by the way, look at this. It's a roaring fire. Okay, I'm very, very excited about this. So this is the first time we've used this fireplace in the entire time we've been here. And there's a reason. So let me think. I have so much to tell you guys about. So I hope you guys are doing well. Where do I begin? So we moved in. I think when we had purchased the house, the listing said like 8 functioning fireplaces. And I was like, oh my gosh, how incredible. So when we got here, I was like, well, we obviously need to have them swept. And we called some company that came out and they were like, oh no, don't use these fireplaces. You're going to burn the house down if you use them. You need to have the chimneys lined. And I was like, oh, okay, well then let's line the chimneys. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. And then they came back and they were like, okay, well, it's going to be like $13,000 per fireplace. Not even like the whole chimney, but per fireplace. And I was like, well, that doesn't seem like a wise way to spend money. So I was like, and then I started talking to somebody else and they were like, oh no, you need to replace, don't worry about the chimney, worry about the actual firebox, and you need to replace that and basically gut out all of this antique stuff and replace it with either like gas or some other like firebox thing, which by the way, I have one glove on. I had 2 gloves on and they weren't really working. Anyway, so this guy was telling me it was going to be like $10,000 per fireplace. And that was just going to be the firebox and it was going to ruin this like historic thing. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm just never going to use these fireplaces. And then I found somebody who came and checked them out because I was like, well, what if I just want to do small theatrical fires every once in a while? And I found somebody who's been doing this for 30 years and he's just like, that's just a thing that they're trying to upsell you on, is like tearing out everything and trying to make, Victorian things like up to code by today's standards. And it would be like gutting out an old car and putting all new parts in it just to make it up to code. And he just said, don't burn long fires. So burn them for like short, like 3 to 4 hours. Don't burn like long fires. Only use them a few times a year. So don't use them all the time. And just monitor them and just keep an eye on them. So that's what we're going to do. So every now and again, you're going to see fun little fires actually happening in these fireplaces, which is very exciting. You guys might not think that's that interesting, But personally, you live in a big old Gothic house, and like, what's a big old Gothic house with all of these marble fireplaces if you're not going to be able to actually like use them every now and again? Oh, Leslie, thank you so much. You said I look. This is a vintage dress I got on eBay, and once in a while, I look for like cheap vintage dresses a lot because sometimes somebody lists them and they're not really paying attention to like if it's actually you end up with some duds. But this one was like $30, I think, and it just fit like a glove, and it's very fun. So thank you, Leslie. I feel very, very fancy in this dress. Let's see. Oh, you love the fireplace. Isn't it a pretty fireplace? And we have a real human skull on the mantle. It's very, very fun around here. Speaking of looking fancy, this is one of the first times I've been able to look fancy for the last while because I've been working up in this guest room for, I don't remember. So let me tell you what happened. I was thinking, we had gotten pretty far on the guest room over like August and September. And so I felt like there wasn't like a massive amount left to do. Oh my gosh, was I wrong? So I did the gloves episode in the month of January, and I did that like in the first week. And I was like, well, now I'm going to have all of this time to like buckle down and get this room done. Well, how can I say this? I've essentially wallpapered the entire room, but with stenciling. So it's paint is what I've done. I've painted an entire wallpaper pattern around the entire room, and it's like complex. There's like 6 or 7 layers. And each one of those layers has to be done around the entire room, around the sidewall, and then again on the frieze around the top. And it almost killed me. It just went on and on and on. And finally I was to the last step, which is like this very fine gold outline. And I realized after doing a couple, like I'm actually messing up several sections that I had to completely redo over, that I was going to have to airbrush on every little part of the stencil onto the entire room. So I started doing that, and it was taking so long. I was like, oh, no, this is going to end up eating up like weeks. And it really did. My daily schedule for the last like 2 weeks has been to wake up, put on this like full face respirator, go into this room, airbrush little areas, and then I'll like snap my fingers, and all of a sudden it's like 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I come downstairs, the captive makes dinner, we watch like one episode of a show, and then I go back up into the room until usually like around midnight is when I'll stop, and then we'll go to sleep. I'll wake up and I'll do the same thing. So that's how long it took, because it was the final layer of the room, and you couldn't do it quickly or you were going to just ruin the whole thing. So my gosh, I just finished it, not last night, but the night before. And then I had this fireplace man come out yesterday, and he wanted to be here first thing in the morning, I was so excited he was going to come. And we filmed him, by the way, showing me how to build a proper fire in one of these antique fireplaces. So my goal was so I stayed up obviously until midnight on, I think it was Friday night, finishing the stenciling. Then I had to wake up and get fully made up to be on camera the next day to do this fireplace thing. And then I was like, and now I need to weave together the episode for you guys for the month of February of me creating the pattern inside the computer. And so yesterday, I don't know what time it was, maybe like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was sitting at the computer, like trying to like weave this like episode together, and I was blinking, and I literally started like dropping my head, and like my body was like, you're going to sleep. So I took a nap, and then I woke up today feeling much more refreshed, and I edited a bunch on the episode. So I'm trying to think, we're going to film the talking points as soon as this live stream is done. And then I'm going to finish weaving that together. You guys are getting that episode in the month, at the very end of the month, basically, hopefully on the 28th, but maybe on like the 1st of March. then what's going to happen? Okay, so let me think. My gosh, I feel like I'm running off a mile a minute. Before I get into the rest, let's have some tea. Look at that fire. I'm very excited about the fire. Okay, you can't wait to see the room, Dave. I don't want to like oversell it, but it's awesome. It's so neat. Sometimes you do something and I can't believe I did it. And then once it's done, it's like all the hard stuff is behind you. And you just kind of get to stand back in awe and like be like, well, I guess that's what like 3 or 4 months of like nonstop work can create. But it's really, really incredible. And if we ever like die or sell the house and someone comes in and like paints it, I'm going to come back and like kill them. I'm going to like haunt this house. I might actually like put some little picture up in the room that's like says something like cute and like rhymes that like if you ever touch these walls, my ghost will come back and get you. Okay, so I'm pouring myself some tea really quick. Ooh. I overdid it on how much water because I wasn't looking. Okay, let's see. Christine, will you ever have another show on Netflix or another provider? I'm sure they are sorry now they canceled your show. I don't know if they're sorry. Sometimes I can't believe that even happened. It's so exciting that Netflix show happened, but also I love what I'm doing now. So if the coolest opportunity came around, I would probably take that up. But for the time being, like I have complete control over what we're doing and I get to create exactly what I want to create. I own what I create, which is really incredible, which isn't usually typical with, like if I create a character or something, like nobody can cancel the show and it can't just sort of be taken away from me. So I kind of really, really love it's a smaller audience here, but I kind of just love it. It's more intimate and I don't know. I don't really, with big shows on, I don't know. It's just, I'm very happy with how it is. So it says no to Netflix. You have more freedom. Yes, Rachel, that's how I feel. It is nice, though. The cool thing about the Netflix thing was obviously everyone was wonderful to work with. And then you had like these awesome creatures that you fall in love with, which is really neat. And I can't really create that level of coolness on my own, but I do love everything that's going on here. And this is real. With the Netflix show, it was like I was pretending to live in a big mansion with a bunch of monsters, and now I really live in a really old spooky house. And there are monsters here, but they're not as comical as the ones on the show. Let's see. Would you ever consider making a Discord? I was just thinking about how cool it would be. So we had this brought up a while ago, maybe like a couple years ago. And somebody immediately messaged me. I actually got several messages from people like, be careful of Discord because people can turn on you and get very angry. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want that. So that's kind of what sort of steered me away from like pursuing it. And let's see, manifestation at its finest. Really, Sam, that's so incredibly true because when this all started, I'm trying to think, I was like a bad secretary working and coming home and watching movies like that sort of depicted what I wanted to sort of hope my life would be, or hoped that my life would become. And now it's just sort of, it's been a lot of work to get here, but I'm very, very jazzed about being here now. Let's see. Okay, hold on one second. Someone said Discord can create clicks and turn into drama, and I don't want that. I do love the idea of people being able to communicate with each other, or you guys being able to communicate with each other, because it is sort of like a small community of really like-minded people that have super similar interests, and I don't know if that's so common to come by for this particular, I guess you'd call it a genre. Let's see. Oh, do you guys have any questions before I keep blathering on? I have a number of things to like go over with you, which are going to be very, my gosh. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I think a whole bunch of snow just came off the house, and it just about gave me a heart attack. Okay, I'm going to move my little tea thing. Ooh. Tori asked, are there any updates on the wallpapers being available? So I actually just finally got in touch back with the wallpaper manufacturing company, and they are going to be able to sort of fill in the blanks of what I just didn't have time to make the adjustment that they needed. So I am going to be able to basically pay them to get this going. So yes, that is coming, and the wallpaper I'm doing right now is also going to be made available for purchase. Let's see. Any updates? Okay, so I saw that. Any more ghost sightings? I've been working so much. I feel like you don't notice them so much when you're you've got like tunnel vision on what you're doing. So I haven't noticed anything. Did your parents' house get snow? Very little. So I grew up in Southern California where my parents still live. And I think it snowed maybe once or twice in my childhood there. And it's very it just barely will cover the ground. And that just happened again for the first time, I don't know, in 13 years or something. But it's not snow that I think you have to worry about driving in or anything like that. How many rooms are in your house? I counted them once and now I can't remember how many it was. I think it was, I'm not sure, 28 or something, if you're including everything. Okay, would you ever release a vinyl with the Captive's music? I did. Hold on. Captive? I can't believe I haven't shown this. Have I not shown the record that we did for the top tier patrons? We did one release of basically we do kind of a cool annual gift every year for the top tier patrons. And so I spent, I don't know, a year and a half trying to get this one vinyl record produced. And we finally did get it done, and we shipped it out over this last summer. And it's so incredibly neat. But we had a limited run on it done, and we're not going to do more on that particular. We might do another record at some point, but this was just a limited one that came out so incredibly neat. Let's see. I hear feet on the stairs. I think something's being... Have I not shown this? My gosh. Okay, hold on. I'm going to reach and something... Ooh. Look at this. So this is the record that we had created. I can't believe I haven't shown this. So I'm going to... This one's in the packaging. Let me take it out and show you guys. I might have to tear this plastic. Hold on. And I am. Oh, well. So, what did we do? We both signed these because obviously it is the Captive's music, so his signature is important. So, on one side, we have that family picture that we took. And on the opposite side, we have this really fancy picture I shot of the Captive in his actual music studio in the house. And then, let's see, you open it up, and it is that really fun picture of us in the cemetery with the vintage car. And he has signed right here, and I have signed down here. And then you pull this out. I designed all of this. It took me, it took me a minute to get this done. So this is the little sleeve, which was really, really fun. And then the record itself is right here. And it is a gold record that has it's got two sides to it. So it's got one side and then a second side. And it has all of the music we had created up until that point, or that the Captive had created. And so we will probably do another record at some point. But this was kind of the first one, and it turned into a debacle. Trying to get it printed. But it finally happened, and it's awesome, and it sounds really, really neat. Okay, So that's that. That's like one of the, oh, that's like the first thing I had to show you in this episode or in this live stream. I've got several other things to show you. Let me get another sip of tea. Would you consider selling it or available for download? So if you are in the second tier and up, you can, there is like a post that we need to, I think, repost again, that has links to all of the music. And then for the actual record, so because it was done as a gift for patrons that have been obviously subscribed kind of since the beginning, in that tier, we wouldn't be selling this one. But if we do create another one, we may make that available for sale. The wallpaper though, my gosh, that should be available later this year, and it will be available later this year, and it's going to be awesome. And then I can't talk about it, but there is something else coming up that's really, really neat, and it's a ways out, but it's going to be incredible. Let's see. Love how you did your new logo. I didn't do it. Someone actually, like a fan, and I don't have his information right in front of me. His name is TJ, I think, and I had been crediting him because he actually created that logo, posted it to Twitter, and somehow someone sent it to me and I saw it. And I loved it so much, and I reached out to him and I was like, can I pay you for this logo? And I threatened him with violence. I like tried everything. He would not take any money for it. And so all I could do was like tag him in everything. And like I kept checking with him to like, are you sure I can't pay you? Please let me pay you. And he wouldn't. Like I said, violence was threatened and he just wouldn't listen to me. But so anyway, he's the one who created that logo. I created the first logo just when we were first starting, and I was like, well, I'm sure this will be wonderful. But typography is difficult, and some people are just kind of more creative with it, and I loved what he did. Let's see. I can't wait until you replace the logo everywhere. I'm going to. So I plan on reworking the intro to the show, incorporating this house, but keeping everything with like Biggles in it. And so it will be adjusted. New music will kind of, or the song that's in there will be sort of tweaked or reworked. And it's going to be so, so awesome. All of this stuff happens like unbelievably slowly, but then when it finally happens, it's so incredibly neat. Oh, someone asked about the gramophone. What is the gramophone behind you? This is a French Pathé gramophone. It's the very first one I ever got. And the reason I'm excited to talk about it is because I mentioned back at the old house that my dream gramophone was like a Victor 6, which is this really, it's got a wood horn. It's really incredible and fancy. And I have spent the last 2 months collecting things for this room upstairs, this guest room. And there's going to be one in that room. So let me break down how these episodes are going to play out, because it changes as I find out the projects take forever. So I thought I was going to have all of these episodes done right now. But because I literally just finished the painting part, they're going to be spaced out a little bit more. So within the next couple days, you guys are going to be getting the episode where I basically reveal how I found the wallpaper, how I created it in the computer, and that's going to be the episode. And my God, it's currently 5 hours long, and it's all important information. So I've got to somehow whittle that down to a more palatable amount of time for you guys. And so that's going to be the first one. Then the second episode that's going to be coming most likely now at the end of March, it's going to be the big public episode where we just show everything. Like kind of, you guys get the detailed information, but like the broad strokes are essentially going to be covered in the public one, where you're going to see the room from start to finish. And then you guys are going to get a decorating, like how I decorated, where I found all of these pieces for your March episode. And then for, I think it's April and May, because this is a huge project. So much goes into it. And I don't like, there's so many things that are episode worthy that you don't want to just sort of stuff in. So I'm not sure which order it will be yet, but there's going to be a lampshade episode for you guys coming up. That I did a lampshade episode where I was like, everything was hand stitched and it was so tedious. But I do want to show how to do a lampshade if you just want to get a lampshade done, which is what I'm going to be doing. So that's going to be, I'm going to do 2 lampshades in one episode. And then the really awesome episode I'm so excited about, I got a full canopy bed for this room. And I had to get 2 canopy beds that I'm going to dismantle both of them, Frankenstein them together and stain them and color them so that they look like one cohesive, like Victorian unit. And then I'm going to show the drapery process of how you do all of that. It's going to be so over the top and awesome that it just completely needs to be its own episode. So this is next month, you will get to see what the whole finished room looks like. But then over the next several months, you will get to see how all of those details sort of came together. Let me get another sip. A 5-hour video can be broken down to several videos so we can see all of it. Donna, you might... You might fall asleep. So by the way, it's a 5-hour video, but it's also sped up 400%. Actually more than that. I think it's, if I collectively look at all of the footage of me working on the computer, it's like 37 hours of me slowly trying. And those are all of the clips that where I was doing something that ended up working its way into the final, because you do spend a ton of time doing stuff that's like, you never see, like it ends up being a mistake and you're like, oh, well, never mind. I always cut that stuff out. So it's a long video, but I'm going to make it enjoyable for you. I promise. Let's see. The decorating videos are going to be so sad. You're going to love this one. Honestly, I don't want to overhype it, but it's going to just be the coolest room I've ever done in my life, because it is from start to finish. Everything is going to be different than it was. And there's going to be a fire crackling in the room, an old antique gramophone playing, and a big old canopy bed. And my mom gets to come stay in this room. And I think I do want to do another contest where a patron gets to come and stay, and whoever that winner is will get to come stay in this room. So it's going to be awesome. Let's see. Any creepy leprechaun ideas for next month? I wish... I've gotten so wrapped up in this thing, I haven't even had a chance to do. I did try to figure out a vegan milk chocolate recipe because I wanted to do a live stream craft along on Valentine's Day. And you can do dark chocolates, but I'm not that crazy about dark chocolate. I really like kind of trashier candy, just like I don't know, little kid candy, like milk chocolate is what I like. So I need to experiment a little bit more before I show you guys something. So at least I know what I'm talking about. Antiquing would you guys like an antiquing with me video where I go to like different antique stores and like find little treasures and things? That would be a fun episode to do if you guys would like to see it. Because I'm telling you right now, there were cool antique places in California, but they can't touch this area. I don't know what's going on here, but like the antique stores here are just bananas. The prices are 1,000 times better than they were in California, because California, everything had to be sort of like brought across the country and they're a little more, I think, scarce. And here it's just, there's an antique store everywhere, and there's a number of them that are just so incredibly cool. So I'm seeing yes. Well, let's do that. Okay. I don't know when that will happen. Let's do it kind of fairly soon, I think. I would love to do that. So yes. Okay, fun. It's nice to find what you guys want to see too. Like I said, I used to do, I'm trying to think. See, there's always somebody that, no, I would like to see you create, not shopping. Well, part of this, that's why it's kind of like nice to just mix up everything that you do. Most of these episodes are me creating something. But every now and again, it is kind of fun to show how you like set a scene, because that is kind of creating, is finding the right treasures. So whatever that episode would be, it'd have to be antiquing for one specific space, and then I would show you how I utilized all of those pieces that I found. Because my gosh, there is a whole bunch of, when you come home with treasures, sometimes the attic of the house has turned into an antique store, because you'll get things and you try to put them in the right place, and sometimes you're like, this is just too much, and then it ends up in the attic. And so the attic currently looks like my fantasy attic, like it's filled with old organs and weird old things, and it's really spooky and cool looking. Let's see, it could be a live stream shopping. The phone, the footage would just be like this, like from this angle, it would be unattractive. Okay. Would you ever consider making your own lace? I'll tell you why I don't want to do that. You can find old crochet and knitting stuff. That is a super time consuming process. And I don't know that I'd be able to create something so incredibly original without investing just a massive amount of time. And so I don't know. I love it. I love that people do it, but it doesn't call out to me, because it just seems like it would take so long to do. Just like I love quilts and things like that, but I don't think I have the, I like patient things, but for some reason it takes too long to get to the reward for that for me. Let's see. My living room became the antique storage. Michelle, that's what happens. Like you find weird little treasures, or sometimes you get like a really good deal on something and you're like, well, this deal isn't going to come around again, so I'm going to have to nab this right now. And then before you know it, you're living in like a hoarder's den or something like that. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Should we talk about the gifts and everything that went in them for the, they're finally going to go out. So in December, we had a contest, and it was going to be 3 winners, but I ended up liking 4 of the responses so much that I ended up choosing 4 winners. And I had to buy, it was going to be a luxury basket of like basically like luxury little things that I love to use personally. And so I ordered everything, but there was a couple things, one specific thing that was really great that was out of stock, and I had to wait for it to come back in stock. And I didn't want to send these out without this element in them. So I waited. And okay, let's see, hold on. Captive, please stoke the fire. It is going down. Okay, if he is able to come down, I'm going to switch this because he's not in costume right now. And he'll update or refresh the fire. Okay, good morning from Japan. Hello, how are you, Mio? Okay, yes, the fire's going out. We need the fire back. Captive. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Do you do any type of quilting? No. I love it. Any kitties nearby? They're all sleeping upstairs. I don't know what it is. I think I talk so loudly in the live streams that the animals seem to scatter a little bit. Once in a while they make an appearance, but let's see. Crack the whip. Exactly. I hear feet on the stairs. Ooh. And the clock strikes 12. So hold on. I'm going to switch while we get this fire refreshed, and we will be back in just a moment. And we're back. Okay, this might take a second to get going, but or maybe not. Maybe it's going to start right back up. Okay, so what was I talking about? I was talking about these gift baskets that I've created, or it's basically just like a collection of fun things that I like. I've got them all here. So I said, people had asked, are you going to show what went into those? And I'm going to show you everything that I put into them. And I saw a couple questions. Does it take a lot to heat your house? We have like a radiator system and then also like a forced air heater system. So what happens, because it's kind of like it's a big old weird house, so you can create a sauna in one room and then have like a refrigerator in another room. So it's a tricky sort of thing to sort of juggle. Who were the contest winners? I had the list right here. I think Rachel is one. Hello, Rachel. I'm so excited. No, I will reach out to everyone who was the winner just to make sure that I have the correct shipping address before I send these out. But would you like to see everything that went into those little collections? Okay, so the first thing is the shampoo that I love. And it's Olaplex. And I'm sending big jugs because the stuff's gotta last. So this is my very favorite shampoo and conditioner, and I've been using it for like 3 years and don't see an end in sight. So, the fire's gotten aggressive. So that is going to be in there. My very favorite tea is going to be in there, and this is TWG. It's decaffeinated, and it's called Vanilla Bourbon. And they come in these little cloth satchels. They're really like pretty and fun. And so a case of these does not look like a cigarette carton or something like that. So that's going to be in there. This one's kind of silly, but I love. Oh, and the record is going to be in every single one. I forgot about that because we do have a couple extras. Decaffeinated teas don't get enough love. I completely agree, because when do you want tea? Usually in the evening. And so it's so incredibly nice. Is the shampoo vegan? I think so. I actually don't know. I should check. Okay. Everyone is getting a Nespresso. It's called an Aerocino. I'm pronouncing that incredibly wrong, but I'll show you what it is. If I can find the one. I had one. It's right here. It's basically this, and it froths milk, and I use like an almond, it's almond milk with like a touch of honey, and I put a little bit of that in here, and I just whip my milk every morning and put it in my coffee or even my tea, and it's really, really fun. So that's gonna go in there. My very favorite scented candle is by Heretic, and it's called Poltergeist, and it's such a good smell. My friend Nina was over, and she was like, it smells like expensive Christmas. And it's got like a tobacco-y kind of scent I'm not good at naming fragrances or like what things are, but it's wonderful. So this is like, by the way, I've got a whole pile here, so I hope you guys don't mind me running through some of these things. My two favorite soaps, which, one bit the dust. This is Caswell Massey is the brand, and one is like an almond bar, and the other one is also by Caswell Massey, and it's called Gardenia. And it's the only floral soap I've ever come across that legitimately smells like a bouquet of flowers. So it's really, really wonderful. I love that smell. Let's see. Melt is like a cosmetics brand I absolutely love. And I use like a black eyeliner. It's a gel eyeliner. So I love that. And then also they make the best cream blush that I love so much. So the black eyeliner, it's ultra matte gel. And the color is Onyx. So, I mean, it is so black. It's the darkest one I've ever come across. And then the cream blush is, what is the color? It's called Honey Thief by Melt. It's amazing. My favorite sunscreen This is Ulta MD, and I really actually use this all over the place. But it's SPF 46, and I put it on my face, on my arms, everywhere, and you put it on, and it doesn't feel like you have anything on, which is just wonderful. Are you guys liking this, by the way? I hope this is okay to be like, I wanted to make these baskets like as cool as I possibly could. It's like Oprah's favorite things. Sort of. Okay, and then what else? Okay. So Caswell Massey also does an almond hand cream, and I've always got this in my purse, and it's just, it smells, if you guys like the smell of almonds, it's just incredible. And then, ooh. Melt also has some makeup brushes that I love. They're like gold with red tips, and these are still in the plastic. But I think it's, if you just go on their website and type in makeup brushes, like these will show up, and they're fantastic. They're so pretty looking, and they also just work really, really well. Let's see what else. Oh, this is something that annoys me. There's a brand called Clé de Peau, and I heard about it because Martha Stewart uses it. And I bought a few of their things. And the thing that I did really end up liking was their makeup wipes, or like their makeup remover towelettes. But they also have things that are so ridiculously overpriced on their site that I almost never buy anything. But these are one thing in particular that I do really, really like. And it does seem like kind of worth it. And what else? I just threw in my very favorite comb, which is like a cricket comb. And I'm saving the last two best things for the end. And let's see. This is my favorite perfume. I found it in London when I was staying with my mom over this last summer. And it's Jardin, and it's, let's see, I don't have it open. It's called Mona Lisa Smile, and I'll leave a link to it on the next, if you go to the vacation episode that I did a few months ago, it's actually in it's in the description. You can get the link to it. And it's not like the most expensive perfume, but it is, I get the most compliments on this one. It's just a really, really beautiful scent. So everybody got that. There was one gentleman winner, and I kind of got him a few different things. Because, I mean, he might have liked the eyeliner, but I'm not certain, so I'm playing it safe. So we've got that. Little sugar stirrers for the tea. And the last thing, it is this. And it's gonna seem silly, but it's a Dreamlight Zen, and it is an eye mask that pulses lights and plays like Bluetooth music. So if you're ever just trying to go to sleep and you need like quiet and calm, setting up something on your phone where you can like listen to like ambient sounds, and this thing creates like utter blackness. Like you can't see anything. It's like the best one I've ever come across. And so if you're ever flying somewhere and you need to like take a nap, it's called Dreamlight Zen. It's amazing. I love it so much. And mine is upstairs, so I don't have it to show you very quickly, but it wraps around your head, and it is like you're at like the bottom of a pit or something like that. Okay, I won't bore you anymore with all of those, but let's see. I have other things to talk to you about. Do you have any questions before I keep going? Bella asked, are there any travel plans this year? So we were supposed to be going to California to stay at the old house next month, in the month of March. But because this guest room is taking so long and it needs to be incredible, we're postponing that trip till probably April until everything is finished. And let's see. Can I provide a list of all the items? That might take me a second, but yes, I'm happy to do that. And I'll try to put links to everything as well. Let's see. Midsummer Scream. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that this year just because I have something really big I'm planning, and I need to completely, and as soon as this guest room is over, I kind of need to buckle down on it and like get it started because it has to do with Halloween this year. So I don't want to give it away in case for some reason I'm not able to pull it off, but I'm going to give it my best. Okay, let's see. Any shoemaking plans? Maybe. I'm not talking about anything yet. Let's see. Did you find a stove for the kitchen? Well, I'm not really sure. I found a few. The kitchen is like, it's something I so desperately need to do, but it's like I've got a whole basket. I'm drowning in a basket of things to do. And it is important, but it doesn't seem to be at the top of my list for the moment. House tour video. Philippe, I'm waiting until the house is like, looks the way I want it to, and it's a ways off from that. So I did a tour when we first moved in, and then I don't want to do another tour until the house is really kind of almost complete, which is probably going to take me like a year or two more. So be patient, but it's going to be so much fun to have a new house tour video eventually, and then be able to compare it directly to the first video of when we showed up, because the difference is going to be obviously pretty dramatic. Okay, and let's see. Oh, this tea is good. Let's see. Really looking forward to the guest room, but I'm also excited for the sitting room reveal. It's going to happen. So the wallpaper is back in production. Once that's done, I'll be doing that room. Hopefully, there was so many things that like slowed that down. I needed to have like the floor addressed, and there's one big thing happening in that room that I can't talk about. But so the next big room transformation you're going to see is going to be the sitting room down here in the front. A movie night, Dave. That's a great idea. Let's hear any movie night suggestions if you guys have any, and I'll try to, if there's any movie you guys would like us all to watch together, let me know, and maybe we can do that in the next couple months. How are the bats? One of them got into the house. They're supposed to be sleeping, I thought, but you can hear them having all sorts of getting into all sorts of trouble in the walls, and then one got into the house just a couple days ago. And I was so busy working. Oh, Clue. I love the idea of Clue. I'm seeing Clue so much. That's my favorite choice personally. All right, it's already been decided because that sounds really fun to me too. But we all have to be in character. I don't know which. Maybe I want to be Mrs. Peacock. I love Miss Scarlet. I have the Yvette outfit, but I don't know if sitting in that is gonna be too revealing, and it's made out of latex. My friend Nina has a company where she makes latex outfits. Oh, arsenic and old lace is a good one too. Okay. Well then, yes, let's do that with Clue. Let me think about when we'll be doing that. Let me get this, let me get this room finished finally, which is going to I don't know. It's going to be the death of me. I told my mom, I said, I feel like I'm never going to be able to leave this room. It's just like it's like hooks into me. But finally, I finished getting the walls done. So you're only going to see what the design of the paper is in the next episode. But then in the one following, you're going to get to see the whole like before and after. And it's going to be the coolest thing ever. Okay, well, the fire's still going. I'm done with my tea. And I really need to get back and keep editing this video so you guys have an episode. So thank you so very much for tuning in. I will see you all very soon, and take care of yourselves. Have a nice night.